we just realized that people are deficient in essential fatty acids and phospholipids. And that's what I'm going to make. And that's what we did.
Like the most OG biohacker ever.
Yeah. My grandfather owned a steel factory and he had heavy metal toxicity and he was diagnosed with chronic fatigue. And he was trying to look for what we would now call functional medicine doctors, people who were doing it differently. He was just like, I'm not going to accept this diagnosis. Like, what is this?
How ahead of its time it is. Yeah. It's kind of mind-blowing.
I think everybody on the planet can be taking PC. When you have the most extreme mast cell activation syndrome, you're living in mold, you are in it, you've had Lyme, you have every autoimmune thing flaring. It sounds snake oily. I mean, it's so hard to talk about something that's great for Lyme, it's great for autoimmune, it's great for people dealing with mold toxicity, it's also really good for your skin. But the truth is every single one of our cells makes up all of these organs in our body. And when we are deficient in healthy fats like phospholipids, our cells are not functioning optimally. So everybody really does need it in today's world.
Okay, Jess, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like this one is such a long time coming.
I know. When I first got on Instagram, I saw you post about PC, I think.
Yeah.
And I reached out and we worked together a little. It was like early days.
Wasn't that? It was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember you reaching out and say this is helping people with Lyme disease, and I was so excited that you were sending me some because I was like in this deep healing journey where I was just buying it all, and then I believed already so much in the product. Yeah. And for this to come so full circle, it's kind of crazy that we haven't met in person before this.
I know.
But
it's nice to meet people and feel like you've known them for a long time.
I know, because I do feel like that. And as I'm
happy to see how well you're doing on your wellness journey.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I have definitely found a lot of healing.
Good.
But it took a long time.
It does.
All in divine timing. Yeah. And then I'm always so happy to see how well your company is doing.
Thank you.
Because it's literally on display in all of my doctor's offices, but I also see it everywhere. People just know what it is, which is you should be proud of yourself, because to make a medical product trendy in some ways is wild.
I saw a post the other day calling PC trendy, and I was like, oh wow,
I know we've come a long way.
Happening.
Yeah, we've come a really long way, and I think it's all due to the fact that it actually works. When you take it, you feel something. So that's marketing in and of itself. This works.
And my grandfather used to say that. I remember when he came over, my husband and I got married, and a couple months later he came over to London to see us, and he sat down with my husband and he said, look, everybody else has the sizzle, we have the steak. And we always laugh about that line because it's such a line your grandparents would use.
Absolutely.
But it's legitimately true. I was just in Erewhon and just seeing the shelves of just such chaos and just so many different things out there.
And it's overwhelming.
Really overwhelming. And even for the people that work there, it's overwhelming. How are they supposed to know all these different things?
Oh, I don't think they do.
No.
Well, I think that's also why so many people don't even buy supplements when they're in the store or even online, because it's just so overwhelming.
It is.
And then if you're a sick person or a sensitive person, you don't want to put anything in your body that you're not 100% sure about or educated on. Yeah. So it's easier to do nothing, I feel.
You get decision paralysis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to learn more about BodyBio today, but also to learn more about you.
Cool.
So first I want to hear about you.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up, which I now know, but you can tell the listeners. And what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah.
Was it in this field or was it? Oh, you always knew?
I was so specific, actually. I grew up in New Jersey. I probably at some, young age got bit by a tick and had Lyme disease. Didn't even know it until 20 years later.
Of course, exactly.
I had a really, really wonderful childhood. Very textbook beautiful childhood. When I turned 18 years old, after about 4 months in college, my father passed away suddenly.
Oh my God.
And that just changed my entire health trajectory.
Totally.
I went through all these stomach issues for so many years, so many endoscopies and colonoscopies.
All
just
of
a
them.
Misunderstanding. But what it did was kind of sow seeds of understanding that I could take my health into my own hands and try and figure it out on my own. And I was so lucky to be able to sit with my grandparents and learn from them. And that really helped me to get to where I am today. I actually wanted to be a doctor growing up. And I think if I did pull through with it, I would have absolutely been functional integrative doctor. Mm-hmm. I actually attempted to maybe think about going back to school and becoming a doctor when I had my first child, and then I had my child and I was like, that's not happening.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
So now we have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an almost 4-year-old.
You have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Girls, boys?
Boy, girl, boy.
Boy, girl, boy. I love that.
It's chaos. So with that, and then my husband and I work together. And then, you know, the kids and building a business together, it's absolutely crazy.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Mom of 3, running a brand with your husband, all the things. Wow. I love this. I have a boy and a girl.
Nice.
And I always feel if I were to have a 3rd child, which I don't think I will because my pregnancy was like, I don't want to return to that.
Sure.
What happened, it was just having the sensitive body and everything. It was very, very, very hard. But I know on a spiritual level that we would have a boy. So I would be like boy, girl, boy. Because you knew this?
I knew it. And I actually, we were speaking to somebody one day, and she said, my husband and I were together, and she said, there's one more soul left for you guys. And I knew it. I wanted 3 kids growing up. I knew when I met my husband, it was going to be 3 kids. Like, I was just determined that he comes from a family of 5.
Oh, wow.
And I come from a family of 3, but I just knew. And
so you knew. And you knew it was a boy?
Yep.
Okay, so I love that you get this because same, I met their souls years ago.
Yeah.
Boy, girl, boy. And I've known it forever. And I used to want to have like 5 kids until I became an adult and got married. And then we're always like 3 kids.
Yeah.
And then, you know, life and the pregnancies and everything. I feel so blessed to have these 2 healthy kids.
100%.
But you never know.
And that soul will follow you and protect your kids forever.
I know, right? They're always a part of your family no matter what. I totally agree with that. That's so beautiful.
But it's nuts. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Even life with 2 kids is so nuts. It's like so chaotic
and
that sometimes I cannot even breathe.
Yeah. You just have to. So like,
it just becomes your new normal.
Like, why are you so calm? And I think because I've been through like so many different probably like health things and traumatic things that I'm just like, this is like, it's fine. You know, this is life and it is what it is. And you just kind of move through it. And I think for me on my healing journey, like part of keeping your central nervous system calm is such an important piece to the puzzle.
It's
that
such
I just don't let little things get to me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can tell that in your energy.
Thanks.
I could tell that when I was listening to you on other podcasts and now being with you in person. You are like so calm.
I appreciate
so grounded. What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
November 28th.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Sagittariuses
We're a very
much.
strong
personality. So strong.
Yep.
So you have that fire, even though you're giving earth vibes. If I was going to guess out of the whole system, I would have guessed that you were like a Capricorn.
Interesting. My sons are Capricorns.
Oh, and I love Capricorns.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you have that anywhere in your chart.
Probably.
But you're a very calm Sagittarius vibe. But then you have that fire, which I bet is like a big part of your work and your drive.
It is. I think my work personality is a driver.
Mm-hmm,
my
totally.
like home, it's definitely like driver expressive, but my home personality and the mothering nature, and I try to bring that into even what we do at BodyBio and like how I speak to customers, our voice, how empathetic we are, like all of that kind of very grounding nature is like super important to incorporate into the brand tone as well.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you're nailing it. And then what about your husband? I'm curious. What's his sign?
He is a Virgo.
Okay.
And textbook. And turbo driver, like just super efficient, drives the whole thing forward and is thinking always 5 years in advance, which is crazy to me because I'm like amazing. 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that makes a good team then because you're kind of like in the present and he's
going
thinking
25 miles an hour and he's going 150.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like such a good match. And you used to live in LA.
I did. I lived all over the place. I lived in Australia, LA, Boulder. We lived in London for 10 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. New York for a little minute. Yeah.
Where did you go to college?
Boulder, CU.
Oh,
that's where
nice.
we met
Okay,
cool.
Class. Oh, nice. Yeah. And then he learned about the family business.
No, actually.
Okay.
He like went on his own journey, super entrepreneurial, and basically like, you know, after college, his parents were like, you have to figure this out on your own. And he really did. And 2008 hit, he was working for a company in Chicago. Somebody offered him a job in London, like field sales, like door to door, carrying around a suitcase of energy shot drinks.
Oh my God.
And he did it. And he did well with it. And then he was recruited by Fiji Water, moved to Fiji.
Oh my gosh.
Built Fiji out in Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
That's so cool.
Did really well there. Was there for 8 years, then moved to PepsiCo.
Were you with him at this time?
Yep.
So you were long distance while he was in Fiji?
We were long distance for a year. I was in LA.
Okay.
when he was doing the energy
I
talks.
see. Okay.
And I would fly like from LAX to London.
Oh,
to
I
go
see.
visit him.
Okay.
And then I just said, forget it. Let's just move in together. And I went over to
Yeah.
London. And he was working at PepsiCo, just really did not feel fulfilled working at that type of company. But I think it was a great corporate experience. And my grandfather was like, hey, like, we need help. We've got something that really works. I just don't know what to do with it.
Wow.
And he was thinking about turning it into a drug. Brad came over and met with him and was like, we're going to move back. And then within like a month, I was pregnant with our first son.
Oh my gosh.
And
wow.
it all just, somebody knocked on our door and bought our house that we had just renovated.
Oh my God.
It was like totally
yeah, everything fell into place the way that it was supposed to.
It really did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And then your grandparents, how did they come up with the idea for this company? Because I mean, I still feel like this topic is way ahead of its time.
Yes,
and this product. So when did he start it? And what did that look like?
1980s, my grandfather owned a steel factory. And he had heavy metal toxicity. And he was diagnosed with chronic fatigue.
Oh.
And he flew. He was actually a pilot. And so he flew this little, plane that he would dink around the country on all the way to California. And he was trying to look for what we would now call functional medicine doctors, like people who were doing it differently. His first job actually in like the 1950s was selling, he would sell juices in Miami on the streets.
Oh my God.
He had like a juicing company.
That's
back in the day.
So cool.
Yeah.
The OG juicing.
Like OG understood all of this kind of stuff. Like Uber biohacker,
cool.
lifted weights until he was 95 years old. Like
Oh my
really
God, so cool.
incredible man. And so he was just like, I'm not going to accept this diagnosis. Like, what is this? I'm not going to live like this. And he came out here. I don't know what doctor it was that he saw, but he started doing more and more research. He got more into it. And he was just a very prolific tinkerer, serial entrepreneur. And from that decided to build through looking at the research and coming together with my step-grandmother, who was his second wife, just culling through like years and years and years of research. And they put together this concept of you can look at what's happening to our red blood cells to really get an idea of what's happening into the cell membrane. And so there used to be a test that you could go into LabCorp and get and pay $100, just like Function Health. It was cheaper. And you would get your Chem 28 and what it meant and what supplements you needed. And then you would get the red blood cell fatty acid test. And that really looked at like how your cells are dealing with all the stresses that they're under all the time. And so that you could get at LabCorp in like the 1990s. Super small functional medicine space back then. It was like a couple companies like Mercola and the people who started Thorne and Metagenics and Zymogen.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of found their niche. And my grandparents stuck with this very, very, very niche cellular health.
Very niche.
Very
Yes.
niche.
And they decided not to add to it because they just
No.
wanted to focus on this product.
He just realized that through looking at this test, people are deficient in essential fatty acids and phospholipids. And that's what I'm going to make. And that's what he did.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like the most OG biohacker
Totally.
ever.
Yeah.
Because I think for people who weren't around back then, I mean, I wasn't even, but like I think for people listening to look back on that, to really understand how ahead of its time it is kind of mind-blowing.
It is.
Because we now live in an era where everyone's looking for the next biohack or the next, healing pill. I mean, yes, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere. It's like, oh my God, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah.
And there's a massive industry around it, and a lot of things fail and a lot of things succeed.
Yeah.
But he did this when nobody even cared about health.
No.
Or
he
knew
really
about
did
it.
Because he was just so passionate about it. I think once he got better,
Yeah.
he was so passionate about understanding. And I often like reflect back and I'm like, God, he was so ahead of his time in looking in the 1990s and saying like, okay, all of these environmental toxins and these things and these microplastics and the BPAs and the DDTs and the benzenes, these are disrupting our cell membrane.
Totally.
They're ripping apart our cells. And they're getting into our cells and they're altering our epigenetics. And so we're activating disease at a much younger state than ever before. And so initially they worked a lot with children with rare orphan disorders. They looked a lot at neurodegeneration, ALS, Parkinson's, things like that. And now, like the research has come so far, we're aware that what these toxins are doing to our body. Not that it's making it necessarily to the total mainstream, but it's definitely getting out there more.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, it is now. And I'm so impressed by the people who were aware of that back then. I mean, I had
crazy.
Someone on this podcast months ago who founded Ophora Water, and he's about late 70s. And this has been his mission for, I mean, for most of his life, like water and plastics and like microplastics and drinking out of plastic water bottles and and like nobody believed him back in the day. His water's
structured, right?
Yes, it's ozonated, it's structured. We have the whole house system now in our house, and next I want to do our pool, because it's like healing for eczema, and my kids have eczema, and it's just like a whole. It's very cool, but again, it's still very niche to this day. Although I think there's still a huge market for it, but years ago, I don't think people understood any of this stuff enough. So your grandfather must have been so excited that you wanted to take this over. Like, what if nobody in the family wanted to do that?
The second generation didn't. Second generation was not into it. They did all the things. They took all the vitamins that Pop-Up told us to, but they weren't interested. And so I think there was a fear. And I think he brought multiple people in at different times, and it didn't work out. So there really had to be somebody who felt passionate about it, but also who understood his mission. And when he sat down, I remember I was pretty pregnant. And I would just go in and sit with him every day. This is when I was considering going back to school to be a doctor. And I would sit with him, and he would talk about how great it would be. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to med school, you know. And it's funny because after a while, after I had the baby, he and I were talking, and he said to me, you don't need to do that. We can still educate people, and we can reach people even by partnering with doctors. You don't have to go back to be a doctor that's working one-on-one with people. And it was a pretty prolific kind of shift in where my trajectory was going. But then I started working full-time at BodyBio, started bringing our son to the office. We had a little like playpen set out in the middle, and he would play in it, and everybody at the office would come and hang.
That's so fun.
And we just started kind of realizing like, okay, first off, we need to market this stuff. We need to rebrand.
Totally.
That was like step one. So you probably had like the OG white bottles back in the day.
Yeah, I did. I remember them completely. Yes.
Yeah. And so we were one of the first brands. We saw Thorne go on Amazon, and then we were like, okay, we're going to take this risk and do it, because we only had ever sold to doctors. So we opened up our website, D2C,
that makes sense.
And then we went on Amazon. And it was a lot of convincing. It took a lot of convincing of my grandfather to do it.
I bet. That probably seemed like such a whole new world to him.
Whole new world. And
what a good
shift
idea
for the doctors that trusted our brand forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is still the same stuff, but we just want to make it more accessible to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now I'm remembering when we first connected, I remember being so like excited and shocked because my doctor had already like given this to or prescribed. I don't remember. Was it a prescription?
It was.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So she kind of prescribed, but gave it to me. Bought it from her.
Yeah.
And then we connected, but I already had heard of it because I was so enmeshed in like the Lyme world and the functional medicine doctor. I had so many doctors.
I'm sure.
So I found it that way, but it's so amazing now. And now I have all these friends who take it for beauty and for, like skin people, my friends who are super into skincare and stuff, they know the benefits, which you tell us while you're here, what are they for beauty? And of course, beyond people who have some kind of like immune issues.
Yeah, I think, people who have chronic illness or immune issues find it because they're out of it's out of desperation. But it's also because their practitioner put them on it so often, right? We have tens of thousands of doctors all over the world using it. People who there's a whole new movement, which I think is one of the real benefits of social media, of like, let's do alternative things for aging and for keeping ourselves healthy, ourselves healthy. And I was sitting with a friend of mine about a year and a half ago. She said, did you realize how many people comment on my skin? And I'm not even doing Botox anymore. I haven't done any fillers, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she's like, I really think it's because I've been taking so much PC and balance oil. I'm like, and it like dawned on me, like, duh, our skin is our largest organ.
Yes.
Of course, taking these healthy fats are going to plump up your skin. And I did Botox once, and I was like, this is never happening again. I felt trapped in my own skin.
Same. One time ever, and really didn't like it.
No.
Yes.
And for people who have experienced like Botox poisoning, it's critically important because it's going to go in and grab onto the biotoxins and actually remove them from the body. So it sounds snake oily. I mean, it's so hard to talk about something that's great for Lyme. It's great for autoimmune. It's great for people dealing with mold toxicity, but it's also really good for your skin.
Totally.
But the truth is every single one of our cells makes up all of these organs in our body. And when we are deficient in healthy fats like phospholipids, our cells are not functioning optimally. And so everybody really does need it in today's world.
Totally. And what is PC for people who don't know?
Yeah, so PC typically stands for phosphatidylcholine. RPC has multiple different phospholipids. There are 5 main phospholipids that make up our cell membrane, which is like this bubble that protects our cells. And it protects each of the organelles within the cells. We should make enough in our body from food, but in today's world, because of the toxicants and because of all the chemicals and the plastics and all of this stuff, we're getting these leaky cells, and this bad stuff is actually getting in and breaking down our cell membrane. So imagine just like leaky gut, all of a sudden we have this leaky cell, and the cell can't perform all the important actions. All the actions that it performs, this was Bruce Lipton's work that he did, come from the cell membrane.
Yes,
and the cell membrane is so, I mean, even he says it's the most critical place for the cell to be healthy, because it's talking to each of the other cells and performing all the actions of cells.
Wow, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and I love Bruce Lipton. His work is amazing.
Yeah.
I went into a huge rabbit hole a couple years ago of reading a bunch of his
Biology,
work.
Belief,
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
He's incredible.
Really on like the energetics of cells and like the spirituality that is woven through our DNA.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's a question I have for you. Like, do you believe in all that? I'm guessing you do, because you know all the work of Bruce Lipton, like
Trauma
the chemistry
affects
of
your cells.
Yeah, it does.
Stress affects your cells.
So much. Yeah.
All of this, and we hold it. It's also passed down from our ancestors.
It is.
And
Absolutely.
Mitochondrial health passed down from our mother's lineage, from our grandparents. So things that your grandparents were exposed to are going to affect your children.
Yes,
it's incredible.
Exactly. And I think so many of us came to this life to be the pattern breakers in our family, and specifically those of us who have had Lyme or chronic illness or mast cell activation syndrome, all of the above. I'm guessing like maybe that was your experience too.
Oh, yeah. And I think for me it was, I worked, have you ever spoken with Mark Wolin? Did you read his book?
No.
It Didn't Start With You?
No.
So I, probably after we first met, a little bit after that, I got COVID. And after that first bout of COVID, I was really, really sick. And I saw a doctor in Canada, Dr. Bruce Hoffman, incredible doctor. And he became a friend of mine through his partner. And for the first 2-hour session, we talked, and he said, you're shutting off your dad. You're shutting off your spirituality. This is why you're sick. You're going to do a session with Mark. I want you to work on this. This is why your thyroid's affected. This is what's happening in your cells. This is what the cell danger response is. This is what mitochondrial dysfunction is. Brought it all together for me. And I started doing a lot of more spiritual work with Mark. And then from that, my health has never gone back. So I've dealt with mold since then. I've had another bout of Lyme since then. I've never felt, I feel maybe occasionally brain fog, but like I maintain a level of optimum health. I think because I take care of the foundation of my health so deeply and so carefully.
Totally.
And I haven't like had any huge issues for a really long time.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that you're into the spirituality of it, as well as like the product side and the everything else side of it, because it all goes hand in hand.
It does.
It really does. And I believe like any of these supplements or medicines or anything that we put into our body can only work if we believe it's going to work, and if we also work on ourselves and our nervous systems.
Yep. True. I mean, it's really true. And I see it a lot in kind of social media, even in our Facebook group. I'll see it, people coming in with this kind of owning the identity of chronic illness and this victim mentality. And we often make the recommendation, like, you have central nervous work to do. You probably shouldn't even start taking PC yet, because if you do, you're probably going to react.
Oh, really?
And so you might need to do that work, and you might need to kind of work on the mast cell activation syndrome first. And this is why you need a really good doctor to do this type of stuff.
Totally.
And titrate it and tell you when to start. But,
oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so this is something I didn't realize, but makes a ton of sense. You wouldn't recommend this to just anyone, like not someone who...
Look, I do. I think everybody on the planet can be taking PC. When you have the most extreme mast cell activation syndrome, you know, you're living in mold, you are in it, you've had Lyme, you have every autoimmune thing flaring, like, you need to do some work probably before, or typically what we'll do is have people start for a month on balance oil, get the bioactive lipids in the body, get those types of healthy fats, which are coming from essential fatty acids in, and then you can start on PC.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. And I think that's so wise to actually advise that to your customers and your Facebook members and everything, because as with anything, I mean, if you are deeply, deeply ill and deeply in it, anything can make you herx, as we call it in the Lyme world, and kind of have that like, whoa, toxin die off, and it can get worse before it gets better, which can be really scary, which can then turn people off of continuing healing. So I think that's a really important piece.
Yeah, we did some work this year, fascinating work with this mitochondrial research lab. And they were really investigating, like, how is PC taken up into the cells? So they were recreating it in a lab and doing the right studies to look at how PC is taken up by both the cells and the mitochondria. And they came to us and said, like, the zeta potential, the actual electrical charge of PC is extremely high.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not even necessarily that you're herxing when you start taking it if you're in that kind of very low health place. It's that it's increasing the electrical charge in the cells so rapidly that your body actually can't handle it, because you're in that state of cell danger response. Exactly. So you're in this like stiffened cell place, and when you introduce that to the body, it can actually kind of go into overdrive.
I love this because I believe so much in frequency, and everything is a frequency. So, I mean, translating this into spiritual terms, I believe that PC is so high frequency, and the way that you guys make it is obviously so pure and so trustworthy, which makes it high frequency. And then to pair something like that with a body that is at a very low frequency, which is no one's fault, but we've all been there. Like when we've been sick, it can absolutely rattle your system.
Exactly.
And I've seen this with other things too. Like, you know, I'm so into peptides, and I see when like this high vibrational, I think it's very high frequency type of medicine or whatever you want to call it goes into the body into a very low frequency place, very challenging reactions can happen. And so I do try to help people through that. I mean, I also advise them to go through a doctor and someone who's very skilled, because there's a lot of deeper work that needs to happen throughout all of that.
I agree. Yeah. So and I think with any of these things, it's got to start with low, right?
Start slow. Start with the smallest doses.
Like, let's go hard on this. She takes 2 tablespoons a day. Sure, I do, but I've been there
living,
for a very
breathing
long
this
time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how much would you recommend someone starts with?
Normal, healthy person looking to optimize their skin. I think the dose that we have on the bottle is 2 tablespoons, half a teaspoon. I think you can start at that. I really love telling, particularly with people who are healthy, load the body up. Do a loading dose. So do like 3 months at a higher dose, even if it's 12 capsules, 1 tablespoon. That like floods the body with the fats that they need and starts to create a reserve pool that it can pull from to feed the
12
cells.
capsules a day? Oh, yeah.
So do that for like 3 months, and then you can taper back down to the 2. For people who are chronically ill, for people who are dealing with any type of autoimmune condition, neurodegeneration, things like that, this, I would say you need to titrate up to a higher dose over time. Give it like a month. Start with 1, move up to 2, move up to 5, and get to a 2 tablespoon a day. I mean, it's a lot, 24 capsules.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot of practitioners put people on very high doses. 6 to 9 months, then you can taper back down.
I'm remembering this from my Lyme era. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I did take so many.
Lyme, I found like this was fascinating to me. Sitting with my doctor, Dr. Christine Getrick-Perfetta. She's unbelievable. Like any celebrity that's had Lyme, she's gone to see them.
Wow.
And she said to me, did you ever see the research that was done a few years ago where Lyme spirochetes steal the choline head group off the phospholipids and just kind of splatter them out? And literally, she said they act like what did she call it? Not a sledgehammer, but she said they act like this machine that just steamrolls over the cell membrane and starts ripping out the phospholipids and the fats.
Oh my God.
And they steal them so that Lyme, which doesn't have his own phospholipid carrier, can survive.
That is so crazy.
Crazy.
Things that happen in the body are so beyond my comprehension. I mean, I see it, but it's like so crazy how I've always felt like those little spirochetes are very wise in ways that I wish they were not, because I mean, they wreak so much havoc. They do. But I mean, of course how they burrow into the cells, and then when you start to heal them through something that might actually be working, like ozone or anything else, they burrow even deeper because they know that you're trying to get rid of them.
Yep.
And that has always really freaked me out.
It's beyond disturbing.
Totally.
It's really odd.
Totally.
But she's so adamant that, every single patient that walks out of her office is taking PC and balance for that reason. Not that it helps the Lyme to survive, that you need to replace what it's stolen.
Exactly. Replace it in your own body.
And there's such a reason neurological Lyme is a thing.
Right. That's one reason why we're all so exhausted and brain fogged, and Lyme is like I still deal with that.
That keeps giving.
I know. I consider myself to be free from Lyme, even though I don't actually know that via
I don't
tests.
think we ever really are.
I know. So I don't want to do a test because I don't want to see that I still have Lyme, because I imagine that I do. I do believe, though, that you can live at a vibration, as well as doing all of the healing things where you manage it so well that you don't have a lot of symptoms. Yeah. But I do still have the symptoms, and I think you just get used to living with them. I feel mostly healed. And if I think back to my life many years ago, oh my gosh, night and day. But yeah, I feel some symptoms often, and I know that I can probably do more to feel less of that. Or is it just because I'm a sensitive person in the world and I'm a mom and I'm exhausted and all the things? I don't know.
I think it could be both. I think it could be all of those things, right?
Yeah.
I think to some extent, a lot more people have Lyme than we think.
I think so too.
I think a lot of autoimmune, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, these things, like if they tested for Lyme and they did accurate testing, not like 100%. Testing, they would find out that these people have Lyme.
100%, as well as people who have Lyme and are just fighting it so well because they have good immune systems and they're really healthy. I think most people have Lyme. That is my hot take.
I wouldn't disagree, and I think just some of us end up more sensitive than others. Just like my husband didn't have any of the symptoms I ever had, right? He's got I'm like, you're an ox. Like, how do you have this? I know. This when I'm so sensitive about everything. And
I know. My husband too.
This is the world.
Yes. Every sensitive person needs one of those in their life.
It's true.
And then I was do you have the MTHFR? MTFHR? I'm always saying
Yeah. So I have MTHFR. I have COMT. I have the
I have that too.
Genetic mutation, which just makes it so much more difficult for us to.
I was going to say that's why, because I bet your husband doesn't have.
Probably not.
And my husband doesn't either.
Yeah. My kids, I know that 2 of my kids have it.
Both my kids have it.
And those kids,
get so much from
we need PC because it helps with the methylation.
Oh, I need to give. So what's the dose for kids?
I give them half a teaspoon a day.
Okay.
Half a teaspoon,
I'm gonna start
sometimes
doing
full
this with
teaspoon.
my kids.
I treat it like a food. Like, to me, it's a food group. So to me, those fats, because when we think of like a healthy fat, I was just at Erewhon and this one company had like the healthy fat, healthy cell. I'm like, this is not what it is.
Right.
And then there was another company that was selling a liposomal product powered by avocado oil. I was like, oh my God, no. Like, the only thing that makes a liposome is phospholipids. That's it.
Oh my God. I know. It must be very triggering for you to walk through an Erewhon, because like every brand, God bless them, is trying to market themselves as, the most packed full of nutrients that you could ever imagine. And very rarely is that true. Sometimes it is. And when you find one of those, they're very special, but very rarely.
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
It's unfortunate, but that's just the world. You just have to go through it with
I know. Exactly. Yeah. So for people who do start taking PC, what are the benefits that they would feel?
So phospholipids make up the membrane of every cell in the body. Every cell makes up your organs. So better liver function. 80% of the gastric mucosa is made of phosphatidylcholine.
Wow.
Better gut function. Brain. Even Andrew Huberman on a podcast recently said 2 most important things for your brain health are essential fatty acids and phospholipids.
Wow.
And we should be getting enough of these fats from our food, but because we live in this toxic world that's breaking them down and stealing them, and like scavenging them from the body constantly, we don't. So that's why supplementing them is so important. I think it's great for skin, helps keep the skin supple, helps repair skin barrier from within. Eye health, all of the things.
That's
Every
amazing.
cell benefits from it.
I need this. I cannot wait to start. I've obviously taken it a lot in my life, but I go through really big phases with things, and I'm very all or nothing. So I need to be like all in, or else I'm not like a halfway in kind of girl. So I knew that this conversation today would get me back on the train, and I'm really excited. My kids need it. Could this help with eczema?
100%.
Oh my God.
And balance oil. Wait until you start looking into essential fatty acid balance.
Really?
And eczema, because there's such a misconception about seed oils. It drives me absolutely insane, but we really need pure unoxidized omega-6 and omega-3 in the right form.
Definitely.
And not in the form of a fish oil.
Oh, really? Oh, wait, tell me, because, okay, so I know, and this was a whole other topic that I wanted to get to with you today. We can talk about it a little now, the seed oil conversation. I know the dangers of seed oils.
Of course.
But what do you mean fish oil? Because I thought fish oil was good.
So essential fatty acids are really, really delicate structures. They're polyunsaturated fats. When we cook them at high heats and when we use canola oil that's on the shelf at a supermarket or whatever they're cooking in your restaurant, it oxidizes them and it makes them rancid. Those go into our body and they build up something called very long chain fats. That's the test that we did, that red blood cell fatty acid test. We can see those very long chain fats. Our bodies still need essential fatty acids. They are essential to our health. We don't manufacture them in the body at all, so you need to be getting them from a source from food. Unfortunately, we've gone on this rant about omega-6 when you actually need a ratio of 4:1, 4 parts 6 to 1 part 3 for our cells. That's what our cells need in order to be healthy and to be functioning. They're really responsible for membrane fluidity. I like to say it's like having a shriveled raisin versus a grape when it comes to essential fatty acids in the cells. And so we still need clean versions. Omega-3 in the form of fish oil in the mother essential fatty acids is linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid. So we want those two as a source. And then the downstream metabolites of alpha-linolenic is DHA and EPA. Ideally, the best source is to get them from food. Number one source, my recommendation is always roe, salmon roe, any kind of tobiko, caviar. Best
I love caviar.
Feed your kids caviar if you can.
Okay. My daughter will love caviar. My son is very picky.
Love it.
But yeah.
So clean, not farm raised, eat the right type of fish when you can. If you cannot, then you want to look for a really high quality source that's CO2 extracted. Much of the fish oil on the market is just heat extracted or solvent extracted, which means you're using hexane and high amounts of ethanol, chemicals you just really don't want. It's going to damage that heat, and those solvents damage the delicate essential fatty acids. So we make a fish oil from caviar. I don't even tell people to take it every day. I tell people once a week, twice a week, take it. If you are experiencing a lot of inflammation, it's amazing because it has specialized pro-resolving mediators in it. So you could do, post-surgery, or if you get headaches, you could do 6 capsules a day for
I get really bad headaches.
Try the SPMs. It's amazing.
Oh my God. Okay, I will.
It's called Resolvin. It works so well. But you want to balance it with the balance oil. You need to be getting all of the essential fatty acids in, and that's what our cells need.
Okay.
And when we should absolutely continue to avoid seed oils. You don't want to eat the oxidized, but you want to get them in the right form.
Oh my gosh, this is revolutionary. No, I love it. Okay, so daily, if it were me, what would I be taking daily?
I think you should take, the healthy fats you're going to want to take are BodyBio PC and BodyBio Balance Oil. Cycle in when you got a headache, take a bunch of Resolvin, or definitely try once a week to eat a little bit of caviar. I think that's a really, really great source.
I can definitely do that. I know, my
right?
favorite food.
You don't have to get expensive caviar. It doesn't need to be a fortune. They have caviar at Whole Foods for $29.
Totally, it's true.
So it can be that. And those are your healthy fats. You might need, I don't know how's your liver, gallbladder health?
Good question.
Have you ever had gallbladder pain, gallstones?
I have had gallstones, but it was a long time ago.
Okay. So for people anybody in your family have a gallbladder removed?
No.
Okay, good. Anyone who gets fat malabsorption, these are pure fats, right? PC and balance oil, and what's interesting about pure fats is they actually regulate cholesterol and plaque and all of that. It's fascinating. So pure fats, when you eat them, particularly if you can't break down the fats, you want to partner it with something called TUDCA. And that's a bile salt, and that's just going to help to get the most out of the fat that you're eating.
Okay.
So maybe once a week, take TUDCA.
And you guys have the TUDCA? Yep. Okay.
And that's it. I mean, if you have gut issues, I feel you're in a really good health place, though. You can add in butyrate. I think butyrate's an amazing postbiotic.
I love
it
butyrate.
Has all these great properties at the cellular level to break down those toxins. And then the PC goes in and it grabs it and it removes it from the body.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to throw this back into my routine. I feel that intuitive feeling when you know that you need something in this very moment. It is resonating so hard right now. Yeah. So I'm really excited.
I'm excited for you.
I'm so happy that we got to have this conversation today. You are so amazing.
Thank you.
When are you flying back?
Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So
oh
I can
my God.
My babies
yeah,
early.
Of course. So what are you going to do tonight? Are you going to have a nice little...
Yeah, I don't know. My husband and I will go out to dinner.
Oh, he's here with you. Okay.
He's here with me, and he had some work stuff to do and some accounts to visit, so it's been a nice little 3-day getaway.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that this happened. It was truly a long time coming. Everyone can find you at
BodyBio.
Yes, and I know we have a code. I'm going to put it into the intro and the outro. It's probably balanced, but we will look at all the details of it, and this was so special.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.